This video will show you how to replace the fuel filler neck on a Chrysler 300. This will be located along the driver's side rear of your vehicle. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. We're out along where our fuel door is. Go ahead and open that door. Now we're looking along this area. We're going to be opening up the fuel system, so of course we're in a well-ventilated area. We'll go ahead and turn our cap counterclockwise to dislodge it. A quick inspection of our seal, of course. If it looks like it's damaged in any way, you're going to want to replace this. This one looks fine, so I'm going to set it aside. Now looking inside this area, we're going to be focusing along this area. You're going to find that you have a rubber seal making its way all the way around, but you do also have a locking ring. I'm using a small angled pick to make my way into this area. I'm going to carefully start removing that locking ring. Just a quick inspection of that. As you can tell, it is still reusable. Now I'm using a plastic trim tool. I'm going to carefully start pressing this inward a little bit. You can see it making its way past the body of the vehicle. As I continue on, I'm just making sure nothing's rotted, weak, or damaged in this area. Safely raise and support the rear of the vehicle so the wheel's off the ground. We're going to remove the driver's side rear wheel. To do that, you'll find you have 5 21mm lug nuts, and let's get the wheel off of here. Now we have to start dislodging the inside fender liner here, so there's going to be several plastic clips for us to deal with. Let's start along the forward lower corner. You're going to find you have 2 plastic push clips to be removed. For these 2 clips, you start removing the center to unlock it. Once it's unlocked, you should be able to remove the outer portion as well. We'll leave it in the unlocked position, continue on to the next one. As we make our way up and along the corner, you're going to find that you have several more push clips. These clips typically break during the removal process, so you will want to have some replacements just in case. For this, I'm using a trim tool. You can also use a flat blade screwdriver if necessary. Let's just be careful not to damage our paint. There we are. That one's separating. Now we have more of those plastic rivets. These ones are a little larger. Same process here, just pry them out of place. Making our way over towards our rear shock. That's as much of the hardware as we should have to remove, so let's go ahead and take hold of the forward portion of this and carefully dislodge it, sliding it just behind the rear brakes. Now with that out of the way, it exposes our fuel filler neck. Let's start at this smaller line here. Now if you were looking at this, you're going to find that you have a green locking tab. It has these areas that you need to squeeze. Once you have them squeezed, we're going to carefully pull this down. It's going to want to separate. Just got a little bit of dirt in there, but it is working. You can use some penetrant as necessary. Now that I have that separated, we're going to take this off of here. We'll give it a close inspection, and then we're going to insert it into this line. As far as this is concerned, it's fairly simple overall. You can use a pick or a small screwdriver. Carefully pry away on the locking tab. While you're prying away, I'm also pulling down over the small ridge. There's our locking clip. This is still in good usable order. Let's take this after we clean it down and insert it into the line. For this, we're just making sure we have our locking tabs aligned with their corresponding rectangular ports. Slide it in, listen for an audible click from each side. Now just above that, you're going to find a 10mm mounting nut. Let's go ahead and remove it. Let's leave this in place. We're going to follow this neck all the way down to the lower hose. As we make our way down here to our one clamp that we're going to be loosening with a 7mm, you want to keep in mind that there is still gasoline located in this area, so you need to have a collection receptacle under here, just in case. Now I have a small angled pick here. I have a tiny bit of lubricant on there. That's just to help things slide. We want to be extremely careful not to cause any damage to this hose. One small rip can cause a leak. Now that we have that broken free, we're going to start pulling this out and away. Keep in mind there could be fluid inside this area, so of course we have our collection receptacle under here so we can collect and recycle all fluid properly. You can see a little bit of fuel making its way out. There we are. At this point, we should be able to take hold of this and we're going to work it out of position. After thoroughly inspecting the body of the vehicle and our fuel hose, it's time for installation of our brand new fuel filler neck. Now, as we bring this into position, I always like to protect this area from any miscellaneous debris that might make its way in. If you have any rubber caps, you can use that, or just protect it with a rag even. We'll just go ahead and cover this area and now we'll slide it up into place. This is going to pivot. Let's make our way down towards the bottom. We're going to secure this to the hose. While I'm pressing this in, I'm attempting to get to the position that the original filler neck was in. Now let's just have a quick look at the original filler neck. It's upside down, but this is the area that would slide into the hose. There's actually a small ridge here. We need to make sure that we have the clamp anywhere on the tube that's not at that ridge. Otherwise, it could slide out of position. You're gonna have a fuel leak. So now that I have this in the proper position, I'm going to bring my clamp into the original position and make sure it's nice and tight. Prior to fully tightening this, I want to make sure I can see hose on both sides of the clamp. We don't want to be hanging off the edge in any way. Okay, right there is bottomed out. I'm just going to take it a tiny bit further. One important note about this, if you did happen to tighten it until it skipped, you have to replace the clamp. It's not going to function properly. Now let's make our way to this bracket area next. We'll maneuver this around as necessary. 10mm mounting nut, start it on, snug it up. Let's make sure that's secured in place. We'll continue on to our line next. Now, since we already have our green locking tab inside of our connector, we can take this and slide it up into position. Looking at this line here, you can see another ridge. We'll press it up, listen for a click. After an audible click, we're going to attempt to remove it from the line. It should not slide out of place. Let's pause in the wheel well, and we're making our way up towards where the fuel cap would be located. We need to align our rubber grommet with the body of the vehicle. Now, this rubber grommet has a groove that makes its way all the way around. That needs to be aligned with the body of the vehicle. Once you have it aligned all the way, we'll have our locking clip. You can use an angled pick to get this in position. Now that I have that in place, I'm continuing with my locking clip. We're just going to start pressing it in all the way around here. I'm starting from one side, and I'll make my way all the way around. We'll just double check to make sure that locking ring is completely seated. We can remove our protective cover here, reinstall our fuel cap, and close the lid. Let's make our way back down into that wheel well. We'll start bringing our fender liner into place. Press it behind the brakes. Now, as you continue on, we want to pay attention along the fender as well. The fender liner needs to be on the inside of the fender. Just gently flex as necessary, pressing it behind. Slide that in there. We'll start along the top and make our way down towards the bottom. Our way over here. For this lower portion, we want to carefully start pressing in the outer portion of the push clips and lock them in by pressing in the center. One last quick inspection in this area and we can reinstall our wheel. We'll start on all 5 of our 21mm lug nuts. We're going to get the wheel back on the ground. We'll torque each of these lug nuts to 140 foot-pounds. Now I have the wheel back on the ground. We're going to torque these to 140 foot-pounds in a crisscross manner. Torqued. Okay friend, we finished the installation of our fuel filler neck. Now the next thing you need to do is make your way to a fuel filling station. You're going to fill the fuel tank. When you do so, double check to make sure you have no leaks. Aside from that, thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.